Welcome to the Coach's Corner with Coach Matt Turner and the voice of the Buckeyes, Jeff Rash. Hi, I'm Jeff Rash, and welcome to the Coach's Corner. I'm here today with our new head coach for our first interview. I'm very excited about it because I'm a big fan of this guy, Coach Matt Turner. Coach, glad to have you here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Congratulate you.
I'm congratulating you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, right off the bat, right out of the gun, we're just not going to play around with this. You're not an amateur. I've got to know right from the start, who you voting for? You look like a Trump man to me.
I'm not voting for Trump.
Not a Trump guy?
No. I'd like his hair.
You'd like it? Yeah, you can do the hair thing.
That's it.
No, congratulations. Number one, we got a lot to talk about today. Welcome as the head coach. It's so cool, and I'm so glad you've had this. And I've said this over and over. I said it on the radio broadcast this last week. There's 7.5 billion people on the face of the earth, and 7 continents and 5 oceans. And I don't think there's another person more qualified to take Jeff Traylor's place than the guy that taught Jeff Traylor for many years, which is you. So we're so thankful that you took this position, and I'm really happy, and I know you are excited about the opportunity too.
Well, appreciate that, and very humbled because, again, I'm part of a program, part of a family, and a lot of great coaches and great players, great administration, and so I'm just fortunate to be a part of that.
You know, you do have some good coaches. Now, You've hired a few new coaches this year. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
Who all do we have coming on? I think we have 7 new coaches.
Yeah, you've got on the offensive side of the ball, we've got young coach Brody Lipsy, who's working with our quarterbacks. And he'll work with junior high. He also works with our high school kids and varsity kids, and work with our sub-varsity. On the defensive side of the ball, we've got Phil Pate, who's a guy who's worked with us in the past.
He's no stranger.
No. We brought him back. True to family, man. We went and got a family member, and he's working with our corners. Russell Cunningham, who's been helping us over the years, we just moved him up into a little bigger role as a coach, and he's working on the defensive side of the ball and doing a great job. We hired a guy by the name of Brad Britton from New Caney, who's an East Texas guy. His home's New Boston. In fact, Brad coached at Texas High for a decade.
Not a bad program.
No, he was part of one of their state championship teams up there. And Brad's working with our safeties. And then we've got Ryan Pate, which is Phil's son.
No stranger.
No, I coached Ryan. I coached him in Jacksonville when he was a senior, and coached with him. He coached on our 2009 state championship team. He coached with us for 7 years. So we brought him back to the family. So those
sounds like you've got some.
We're excited about our new guys.
It sounds like it, and of course, they've gotten thrown into the fire right off the bat. In true Buckeye fashion, you guys have been working hard all through this last month or so, and the boys have been working hard, had some good summer workouts. Let's talk a little bit about your background for people that may not have already read your biography or may not know exactly about you. You started coaching back in '82, actually, in Arkansas.
Yeah, Mark Tree, Arkansas.
So you've been in Arkansas, you went to Missouri for a while, Marshall.
Arkansas for 2, Poplar Bluff, Missouri for 2. And then I came to Marshall, Texas. I'd never been to Texas in my life, ever. I'll never forget when Jill and I crossed the line at Texarkana. I said, "This can't be Texas. There's way too many trees." I couldn't believe all the trees.
You were looking for the tumbleweeds.
That was it. I was expecting Rogers and Dale Evans to come riding up over a hill. So, but I spent 5 years in Marshall under Dennis Parker, and we won a state championship there in 1990. And was part of that. Then I went with Danny Long to Jacksonville, along with Wayne Coleman.
Yep.
And we took the job in Jacksonville, and we were there 13 years in Jacksonville. And then
and that's where you met a little wet behind the ears.
Yeah. There's a young guy we hired back probably, I think, 95 by the name of Jeff Traylor from Big Sandy. He's from Gilmer, Texas, but he'd been coaching in Big Sandy.
Right.
And so Jeff worked for us and worked for me on offense, and worked. He was a young, energetic, great with kids, and just a guy that was hungry to learn football, and he did. He really did.
He did in a big way. So he came here in 2000. You came here in 2002.
That's right.
As the offensive coordinator, and you've been in that same role since 2002.
That's correct.
Okay, so now you've moved into that head coach position. You're starting to get things kind of lined out. That's the funny thing. Most of the people that I talk to, and a lot of our fans will be able to appreciate this, people from other towns, the first thing they say when they heard about Jeff leaving was, It's over. It's finally over. Now all these towns are going to get their payback for all that y'all been dishing out the last, decade and a half, and blah blah blah. And I always love it when they say that, because I get to say, well, that's interesting to know, because the guy that trained Jeff Traylor in Jacksonville is actually in Gilmer now, took his place, and you can just see the disgust on their face, like, you got to be kidding me. And so we're excited about that, and so glad that you accepted the position, and I'm excited about it.
Thank you.
I had a chance to interview you. Well, before we get to that, each year the Buckeyes pick a motto, kind of a mantra, and it's been all kinds of really cool stuff that the captains come up with. And this year they chose family. Tell us about that. What's that all about?
Well, I mean, our process, we have senior captains. We've got 11 senior captains, and we in the spring, as we go through our off season, which is our difficult time, of training and getting guys ready to play a very difficult, demanding game. By the end of that, they get a little sense of what they're about and what their team is about, and we ask them to start thinking about what you want that motto to be. And of course, they know the history of our mottos,
Sure.
that we've gone through, Kui Kai, tough, just all,
Code
designate,
Red,
Code Red, you go right down the line. And they all had a significant meaning. Nelson, for Josh. And so they understand, kind of the significance of that. And they just felt, family, and the other part of those themes was just keeping the tradition alive. And they felt like, family is tradition, and that's what a family's about. So, that's what they wanted. They said, we're a family. People come, people go, people grow old. There's even death in a family sometimes, but the family is still the family.
Well, that's one of my favorites that they've picked yet. I think that's very appropriate and really neat to start off your legacy here. I want to point out to you that you now have a better record than Jeff Traylor. You are 100% wins right now. He's only at 87% when he left. So there you go, man. You can rub that in for a while, right?
Yeah, I'll hold off for a little bit on that.
So we talked about that. You and I have known each other for a lot of years, obviously. Attended church and have just known each other through the program for a lot of years since you've been here. And you and I had an opportunity to I had a chance to interview you for a video we did at the state championship this last year. And something that you said, a lot of things you said really stood out to me, because I know your passion not only for the game but for kids. I've known you that on a personal level, so I can really attest to that. But what you talked a lot about, what really impressed me most was you talked a lot about this being a mission field for you. Can you kind of address that a little bit? What do you mean by that when you say this is a mission field for me?
Well, our mission for us is Colossians 3:23. We're going to work with all our heart, as if working for the Lord, not merely for men. At the end of the day, everything I do, I keep the end in mind. And at the end of all this, for me, for Matt Turner, I better have honored God in the way that I've dealt with my athletes, my coaches, the people that work in our building, the faculty, staff, administration, even our opponent. I don't care who we're dealing with. I'm going to honor God. And so, that keeps it simple for me, and I know it's the right thing. And I don't know, I don't always do it, but that's where my heart is.
That's the goal.
Always. That's the goal, always.
Awesome. Let's go to the game. Let's talk a little bit about the game we just had and the game that we got coming up. First of all, it was really strange. I'm used to being in the booth calling the game and seeing you through the glass, usually to my right. So to look down and see you on the field was a little strange for me. I got to ask, was it weird for you after being in the booth for that long to be down on the field?
It's funny. I never really thought about it too much. I mean, other than, you obviously you feel the energy of the game differently there. The kids, the players on the sideline, the crowd, the band, the energy of the opponent out on the field. So that was a little different, but I guess it was just in the busyness of what I felt like I needed to do to help the team. A lot of that, I guess, I didn't think a lot about.
Just kind of focused in
I
on
tried to, yeah.
Well, you played everybody was nervous about that first rattle out of the box because we didn't play a slacker team. We came in knowing that these guys had a lot of weapons. They've got 6 possible, I understand, possible Division I kids, 3 that have multiple offers from schools like Alabama, A&M, Texas, Mississippi. I mean, some big-time schools. So they had some players, defensive end, namely, that is a 6'4", or 6'5", 280 pounds, something like that. Yeah. Big kid. Yeah. Quarterback was swift on his feet, could throw a ball a mile. They had some weapons in the receiver position, cornerbacks. So they had a lot of key players. They're a bigger school than we are. They have more kids enrolled. They look bigger than us on the field for sure. But the Buckeyes, in true fashion, came out disciplined and performed. What was kind of the strategy of that game? And, were you pleased with what you saw from your players and coaches on the inaugural game?
Well, for us, I mean, we try to stay to our style. And, you made an accurate description. I mean, they were a very good opponent. And we just knew we had to play the way we have to play, which is play fast. We're going to try to fatigue you. I mean, we're going to make it that kind of a game. For us, it's a 15-round fight, and we're going to round 15. We're going to see whether you can stand then. And so, for us, it's a 48-minute game. I told the guys, I said, hey, man, it's going to be 48 minutes, and it's going to go down to that last minute. It's going to be who has the will to do it. And I said, of course, that's right. That's
life.
That's what we do, and that is life. And for us, that's what we teach, preach. That's our off season. That's everything we do. So we feel always pretty good if we can get the game down to that. And fortunately, we did against a very good team, and they were right there with us. I mean, we've always said, a champion has the ability to play one more play than his opponent. Sometimes it is just that one more play. Yeah. And the other night, that was pretty much what you saw. Two very good teams. Steve Wells does a great job coaching. They were well coached, and they had
some hard-hitting kids on that team.
No, they were very
I was
talented.
impressed with our kids. We're going to talk more about some of our talent and some of our leadership and seniors as the weeks progress. But before we wrap up today, let's talk about the game that you got coming up. You got Pine Tree this next week at home. Sure is nice to have all these home games for a while.
Right.
And so what are you expecting out of Pine Tree? Are you still shifting kids around too? I mean, are we still trying to find homes for everybody, or is everybody kind of locked in? And is it same story, different team coming up this week against Pine Tree?
Well, for us, I mean, we're still growing as a team. So, I mean, we got guys that are developing, and that's really the focus is, are we going to get better individually and then collectively as a team every week? And that's the goal. I mean, we're trying to play our very best football that we can play with this group. We don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. But we're going to try to find out what that'll be. And, of course, it's a commitment to excellence every week. It's a commitment to, we're not big people about talking about the opponent a lot. We talk enough about them that we understand what we're going to see, what they're going to present, and then we really try to focus on us, because really that's in football, that's the key. It's how well you play the game, how well you develop as a player in the game, and how well you develop as a team. So obviously those things become all the focus. To tell you a little bit about Pine Tree, David Collins is their coach, second year, very good coach. David, spent years at Lake Travis.
Big school.
Most of us know the pedigree of Lake Travis.
Oh, yeah.
He won 4 state championships in a row.
Yep.
We had visited David before in the past to go down there and get football from him. He's very knowledgeable, good coach. And so it's his second year. You can tell they're a lot cleaner, watching them. You can tell they've had 2 years. So to me, they're better. They're developing players. They're coaching over there. So that, we're expecting a better team, and, we're expecting a challenge. They won a big game the other night against Jacksonville, so they've got some momentum. And so we're prepared for a team that's going to be coached, and that they're beginning to get their legs under them a little bit, because they've had the same coach for a couple of years, and all the things that come with that continuity and that. So
they're trying to build a program.
They are.
Yeah, they built a stadium. They want to build a program.
No doubt.
They're out trying to get a good coach.
And I think they're doing that.
They've done that. I think you're going to see a lot of changes from what people are used to from Pine Tree over the coming years.
Right.
So last question I guess I would ask is, does it, the Buckeyes are ranked pretty high in most of the polls that you look at. Do you even look at that? Do you think about, does that get in your head? Does it get in the, how do you advise your coaches and players about that?
I never look at it. I really don't. And I never have. That's just not, I'd take, I hate to say it, just the old, I take it one at a time. I take each player where they're at. I'm trying to develop them every way I can to maximize who they are. I'm trying to maximize my team, and I live in 1 week worlds, and I live in really one day at a time. if I can, trying to do that. So I don't spend a lot of time in it. I've never felt it was very productive. Probably at times, there's probably a little bit of times I probably should look a little bit ahead, I guess, but it's just not my nature, really.
Well, Coach, it's an honor to have you here today. I really appreciate your time that you've given us for Coach's Corner, and I wish you the best of luck against Pine Tree. Again, congratulations on your first victory, and look forward to a whole bunch more of them in a lot more years.
Yeah, Jeff,
and I think your hair is just fine. I don't think Dominic
appreciate that.
I think
Appreciate
it's really good.
that.
Folks, we thank you for watching again today. Again, great honor to have our new head coach, Coach Matt Turner. On behalf of the Buckeyes, I'm Jeff Rash signing off, and we'll see you guys Pine Tree.